Chapter 3. The bright fluorescent lights beat down on Janet, lying uncomfortably in a hospital bed. Covered up in blankets, the cold cuts through her skin. Sitting around her are the three kids. Everything is quiet, except the soft beeps. Even after staying in that room for hours, the anxiety builds within everyone. Finally, Janet's doctor comes into the room. He is a to-the-point older gentleman. Some might say that he is too blunt for a doctor. Some might say this, but he cannot waste his time gently breaking news to people. Just peel off the Band-Aid and move on. Mrs. Banks, I'm Dr. Jackson. We've received the results of your tests. As you know, you have systemic lupus erythematosus. What brought you in today was a complication of that disease. He folds his hands, matter of fact. Your labs and imaging show that you've developed chronic kidney disease related to lupus, what we call lupus nephritis. It's been progressing for some time without obvious symptoms. In your case, the inflammation has also affected your central nervous system, which is what caused the seizure. Dylan jumps in. Is it kidney failure? Not at this point, Dr. Jackson says. Your kidneys are still functioning, but they're under significant strain. The goal right now is to slow, or ideally stop, further damage before it reaches that stage. Will she need a transplant? Rebecca asks. That's not where we are yet, he replies. A transplant is only considered if the kidneys fail despite treatment. Right now, we have other options. He turns back to Janet. Lupus is an autoimmune disease. It flares when the immune system becomes overactive, and stress can absolutely contribute to that. Based on what we're seeing, standard immunosuppressive therapy isn't controlling the disease well enough. He doesn't sugarcoat it. Because of that, I recommend we move to a more aggressive treatment. Chemotherapy. Not the kind people usually think of for cancer, but medications like cyclophosphamide that suppress the immune system more effectively. Yeah, whatever she needs. Let's get it started, Dylan says with hope. Dr. Jackson raises a hand slightly. Before we do that, you need to understand what this involves. Treatment takes time. We'll be adjusting medications and dosages based on how your body responds. Some patients improve quickly, others take months. If the first regimen doesn't work, that doesn't mean we've failed. It means we adjust. Dylan looks at Janet with concern. Are you okay with that, Mom? I also want to be upfront about the logistics. We've spoken with your insurance provider. They'll cover about 70% of the treatment. That leaves roughly $2,500 a month out of pocket, not including follow-up visits, lab work, or imaging. You'll need frequent monitoring. He looks directly at Janet. Given the intensity of treatment and the side effects, I strongly recommend that you not work during this time. Dylan thinks for a bit, trying to figure out how to make that work. Give me a moment. I'm going to call our insurance. He steps out into the hall and pulls out his phone. As he does, Lee's card comes out too. Dylan looks at the card momentarily, thinking about what Lee had told him. He dials the number on the card. Hello, Lee. This is Dylan, Keith's son. Can I speak with you? Peter's Steer House boasts that it is the home of the 16-ounce New York strip. Dylan has never been inside a restaurant as nice, besides a few times with his dad. It is the place where wealthy men bring their mistresses when they are trying to impress them. Glossy, dark rock flooring with large wood beams holding up the ceiling. Stone archways lead to quieter, more private parts of the restaurant. The whole waitstaff wears black slacks with a black button-up collared shirt. Each one carries a red towel over their arm. Dylan walks in the front door and instantly knows he is in over his head. He looks around momentarily, wondering if he should leave, but he remembers why he is there. Good evening, Dylan. Follow me. The hostess ushers him to follow her. She's the same age as Dylan, but a lot more confident. Stumped in how she knows who he is, he follows her to the middle of the restaurant, where she seats him at a small round table for two. Lee will be with you in a moment. Dylan looks around, feeling out of place in his jeans and t-shirt. Behind him, Lee walks up and puts his hands on Dylan's shoulders, digging deep into his traps for a friendly, quick shoulder rub. I'm glad to see you have your father's good instincts. I was wondering when you would call. Lee goes to the other side of the table and takes a seat. So, you have already met my daughter, Adeline? He signals with his eyes to the girl who walked Dylan to his seat. She has been working with me for 6 years now. Beautiful, isn't she? Someday, I am going to leave all of this to her. Dylan is unsure how to answer the question properly. Are you ready to follow in your father's footsteps? My mom is sick. I want to take care of her. Yes, Keith had mentioned that. Lupus, right? Lee opens his menu and scans through it. Yes, sir. Your dad is a good man. He was a lot like me, always putting God first. It's hard to find young men like yourself who have been raised properly. He had been asking me to hire you. He said you have been looking for good work, but you must understand I cannot just hire anybody's kid. He points to Dylan's menu. Get anything you want. Dylan opens the menu. He looks through it but is more concerned with Lee's words. This was his decision? He wanted a father-son thing, but that didn't work out. A waitress walks up to the table with a bowl of rolls and places them on the table. She's one of the younger waitresses at the restaurant at 20. Hey, Whitney, I think I will take my usual. Lee hands Whitney his menu and then looks back to Dylan. Not to brag, but our New York strip is the best in town. I will take the house salad. Dylan folds his huge leather-bound menu and hands it to Whitney. Lee's eyes slash through Dylan. What? Do you not want a steak? You are going to waste my generosity on lettuce? No, sir, I am a vegetarian. Lee takes a sip of water and stares at Dylan for a second. Do you know what the Bible says about vegetarians? No, sir, I do not. Whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. Is your faith weak, boy? I think I have read that. Doesn't it say not to judge them because God has accepted them? I cannot have weak employees. God gave us the intelligence to reign over animals. To not do so would be a disgrace to God. Lee grabs a roll out of the basket and takes a bite. As he is chewing, he continues talking. He will have a New York strip rare. Dylan is disgusted but tries to hide it. Whitney takes the menus and walks away. As she walks away, Lee glances at her butt. Do you know what motivated me to build this business to be what it is today? Lee moves on with the conversation. No, sir, what was it? Family. My wife and my 2 daughters are everything to me. My wife grew up in an abusive home. When I started dating her, I would go over to her house and hear her parents yelling at her. They would get in these huge screaming battles. They would always kick her out for the night, and she would stay the night with me. She would tell me stories about them getting into fights. It always ended with them slapping her around. I had never been around anything like that. I couldn't believe it. We got married, and she was able to leave that house. Since then, I have worked hard to ensure she has a better life than she grew up with. You're trying to get a job to help your mother. I respect that. I will do my best to help in any way I can. Thank you. If you can do a personal task for me, I will give you the job. Our meat for tomorrow night needs to be picked up. My guy, who normally picks it up, called in today. It's hard to find trustworthy people. Yes, sir. But sir, what was it that my dad did? He made the best meals. Was he a cook? Oh no, he did not work here. I have a few things that I have the privilege of running. We will get into the details later. For now, let's celebrate. Your father's life. Your life. Lee takes another bite of the roll and looks around the restaurant as he chews. Dylan pulls up to an old butcher shop 20 minutes out of town. The old metal building is stained with 3 generations of neglect. The small amount of grass between the 2 entrances of the gravel parking lot has not been cut all season. Looking at a crumpled piece of paper, making sure he got the address right, he walks into the store and is hit with the smell of meat. The cashier is wiping off a scale behind the counter. Can I help you? The cashier asks. Dylan studies the place, wondering why such a nice restaurant would use a dirty hole in the wall. Cheaper, maybe. More room for profit. Perhaps it is a family business where the skills are handed down. Their kids already have their 10,000 hours by the time they are 18. Yeah, I'm supposed to pick up an order for Lee. We were just finishing his order. Come with me. The cashier leads Dylan to the processing room. Dylan gags for a second when he comes in and sees all the hanging meat. The smell overwhelms him. The butcher looks up at them as they walk in. His hands continue to make precise cuts even when his focus is broken. You got Lee's order ready? The cashier asks. Yap, right over here. The butcher, whose face is covered by a thick beard, points beside the counter he is working on with a knife. Beside the counter are a few boxes full of wrapped meat. He returns to slicing the ribeye he was working on. Definitely someone who has been raised around meat his whole life. Even Dylan, who was sickened by the place, could admire the perfect cuts. The cashier throws it on a hand truck and returns it to the front. He helps Dylan load the meat into his car. Dylan pulls up behind Peter's steer house. A man around 45 comes out of the restaurant. He is rough, but professional. You, Dylan? Yes, sir. Dylan gets out of his car and shakes the man's hand. Name's Joe. Dylan opens the back trunk to get the meat out, but Joe steps in front of him. I can get that. Lee wanted to talk to you when you got back. He's in his office. Go in. One of the girls will take you to him. Lee's office is a big room with wood paneling, mounted wild game heads, and windows along the wall opposite the door. In front of the windows facing the door is a large wooden desk, behind which Lee is sitting. A couple of leather chairs are facing the desk. Lee looks up from some paperwork when Dylan walks in. Aw, Dylan, that was fast. Come in, have a seat. Dylan takes a seat in one of the leather chairs. You said your dad never told you what he did for me? No, he would always say never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. He would never talk about work when he got home. Well, your father helped a lot of people. After seeing what my wife went through, I wanted to do my part to help girls escape those situations. Yeah? How do you do that? It's not easy a lot of the time. Have you ever been to the beach or a pool and see someone completely sunburnt, but they are still sunbathing? You try to tell them that they are burnt, but they laugh you off and spend the next week in pain? Behind Dylan, the door opens and Joe walks in. He's trying to end a conversation with a waitress who never shuts up. Oh yeah? That's crazy. Her voice starts up again for a second, but it is cut short when Joe closes the door. He faces Lee with disbelief. Does she ever get any work done? He adjusts his sleeves after carrying the box of meat. I put the meat in the fridge. He goes to the side of the room where there is a minibar and fixes himself a drink. Lee ignores Joe and continues with his conversation. Sometimes people never realize the pain they are putting themselves in. Sometimes all they need is a nudge in the right direction. Lee has a sculpture of swinging kinetic sticks on his desk. He nudges the swinging sticks, and they start spinning by themselves. Dylan is curious. What do you do? Lee nods to Joe, who acts on the cue, pulling a phone out and handing it to Dylan. We have been keeping tabs on this girl, Joe tells Dylan. She's not doing so great. We are getting nervous for her. She gets a taxi from her phone every day, to and from work. I have been ride-sharing with her recently. We have become friends. So use this app and wait by her work for her to request a ride, then accept it. After you pick her up, you will pick me up. I will talk with her. All you have to do is drive her to her apartment. Easy peasy.